Okay, you guys, so this is going to be a story time. If you've ever watched my videos in the past, all my videos are usually about something that happened to me, but they weren't called story times because this is like way back, like years ago. So this is going to be my first story time for my YouTube channel. And I'm going to apologize in advance about the quality of the video because I know there are trolls that jump on people's comments just to be like, your quality sucks. Well, sorry, I don't have equipment to record, so I just use my laptop or my phone, so get over it. Anyways, let's continue. So, if you guys know, I drive for Uber and Lyft part time when I need some extra cash. If you don't know what Uber or Lyft are, well, if you don't know what those are, just Google them. Um, they're very easy to come up online to figure out what they are. I want to make this story time as short as possible because I have seen story times that can get as long as an hour, and I'm not trying to do that. Okay, so one night I was driving, and mind you, in the area that I live in, I'm pretty close to UCF, which is a college in Florida. So I usually drive during the weekends and well, I usually drive during the night. And so a lot of college students that I run into, they like to drink during the weekend or they like to drink at night. It doesn't matter, any night of the week, they like to go out. So I was driving in the UCF area one night and as a side note, is there some sort of a pamphlet that tells people when they go to take rideshare services? Do they have a pamphlet to tell you what to ask? Because literally, there have been days where I will go drive and people will ask the same exact questions. They always ask, "Oh, do you do this part time or full time? Has anyone ever thrown up in your car?" Blah blah blah. And so literally, um, everyone, when I drive at night, everyone asks if someone has ever thrown up in my car. And I'm just like, no. Before this situation, no one has ever thrown up in my car. And I've had my car for over a year now. So this particular night, I was doing pretty good. It was pretty busy. I was getting pretty cool people. Sometimes I get people that are really jerky, like they don't want to say anything, they're rude, and it's just very awkward to have them in the car. This particular night, I had a lot of cool people. I did a few rides, and like the ride before the incident was like three or four people that I picked up from one of the local bars near the school, and they were pretty cool. And I was just about to, like, when I dropped them off, I was just about to finish for the night when right before my finger hit the button to clock out, someone was like, "Hey, I need a ride." So, and they were like 5 minutes away, so I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pick them up. What could possibly happen?" So I go pick them up, and um, it's the typical, oh, hey, it's a group of girls, and one of them is pretty drunk. So basically, I get there, I'm waiting outside. I message them and say, "Hey, I'm outside." So four girls come to my car, and one of them is being like kind of held by the shoulder, and taken to the car. And she's like, "Hey, are you the Uber?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And so she immediately throws the drunk girl, into the back of the car and closes the door. They continue to talk next to my car, and I'm like, I look at my rear view, and she just like lays down in the seat, and I'm like, okay, she's probably done for the night. So they're talking next to my car for like a minute and a half later, and the girl in the back is kind of getting antsy, so she opens the door to see what's going on, and they're like, "Oh, we're coming." And so they get in the car, like only three girls get in the car, so I only have three passengers. The original person that made the request for the ride sat next to me, in the passenger seat. We'll call her Bethany. Now, I'm going to change everybody's name except for the girl that had the same name as mine because it adds to the story. The girl that was sitting behind Bethany her name is Amy. Then the girl sitting directly behind me, her name, we'll call her Andrea. So we finally pull off and I let them know I have them in the car. So it brings up the address of where I'm taking my passengers. So I go and she's like, we're going to Apopka from Orlando, where I live, to Apopka. That's about 45 minutes. So I was kind of happy and kind of sad about it because usually when I pick up drunk people, I want to get them out of my car as soon as possible because they could possibly throw up in your car the longer that they're in there. So we pull away and basically, and mind you, side note, when I drive for Uber and Lyft, especially at night, I hear the craziest stories, especially when I pick up women. Like, I don't know, these college students do crazy stuff and they feel so comfortable to speak about it in my car. And of course, I'm judging the hell out of them. So, back on track. The girls start talking. The only one that's not talking is Andrea, the drunk one. She's so drunk at the moment that she is not talking. Like they would talk to her and she just stuff like that. Like she does not talk. So I'm like, oh my god. So basically they start talking. They're like, so Andrea, please tell us the only thing that that bartender did with you was make out, and she's not answering. She's so drunk, she's not answering. So they're like, oh, has anyone ever thrown up in your car? I'm like, no. With that being brought up right now, if your friend has to throw up, let me know. Tell her to let me know. If I will roll down the window, she can throw out the window. She can tell me to pull over. She can throw up out the window, whatever. Just don't do it in my car, or else you will be charged if it can't be cleaned out. So, literally, she's like, okay. And so they told me to roll down her window just in case. So, like I said, this was kind of a long ride, 45 minutes. So we get about halfway there. And um, basically, we get halfway there. And like for me, when I'm about to throw up, if I'm just sick or whatever, if I'm about to throw up, I kind of start this heavy breathing where it's kind of like bringing up the stuff that has to come out. So that tells me get your ass to the bathroom really quickly. So she's starting to breathe like this. And I look at Bethany like, hey, is your friend okay? Like, she's freaking out back there. What's going on? So, literally, this night was like terrible. So basically, she's like, yeah, she's fine. She's like, Andrea, make sure if you gotta throw up outside the window, please. So we go like 5 more minutes. No, 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 2 more minutes down the road. And all of a sudden, we hear a throw up sound. And Bethany turns around to look at Andrea. I turn around to look at Bethany. Bethany's face goes from to, oh my God. And I'm like, oh no. So she's throwing up in the back of my car. Mind you, she was supposed to throw up outside of the window, but she's so drunk, I don't know what's going on. So she's throwing up in this seat. And Amy in the back is like, oh my God. She's like, oh my God, Andre, you're supposed to throw up outside of the window. And she pushes her head towards the window, and all I hear is a smack sound as if she just banged the girl's head into the side of my car door, and on the inside. And I'm like, oh my God, oh my God. So the girl is like, Andrea is fighting Amy back, and she's like, stop, like she's pushing her head. She's throwing up continuously inside my car, and because she's smashing her head to the side of my car door inside, she's throwing up all over the inside of my door, and I'm like, Are you serious? And Bethany is just sitting there looking at her. She's like, outside the fucking window, outside the fucking window. Stop it, stop it. And I pull, at this point, I've already pulled over. And so they just open the door for her. She falls over. She's got her seatbelt on, so she can't get all the way out, but she falls over and face plants into the street. And I'm just like, are you serious right now? Are we being serious right now? So she face plants, and mind you, it was 4th of July weekend, so they had their cowboy boots and their um American flag attire, and these girls were very tiny. They were skinny and tiny. So Andrea falls out of the car, like we're stopped on the side of the road. She face plants her face right into the asphalt, and she's throwing up and laying in the throw up, and I'm just like, oh my god, are you freaking kidding me? So I'm upset, like, oh my god. And literally, what happened? Bethany finally decides, I was like, I think she needs your help. She finally decides to get up, walk around the front of my car, and go and try to help. They're both trying to help pick her up. And like I said, they're very thin. They were really small, so they could not lift her. And I was like, I'm not touching anyone just for liability purposes. I'm not gonna. So I'm sitting here watching them like, oh my god, I don't know what to do. And what happened? And what's funny, the reason why I didn't change the girl's name from Amy to something else was because Bethany was yelling, Amy, help her. And I'm like, huh? Because my name is Amy. And I'm like, oh wait, she's talking to such and such. So it was a crazy mess. So they're both trying to grab her. Amy is in the back pulling her by her shirt, and her freaking shirt rips. And I'm like, I don't want to see children boob. Oh my god, ew. So now I'm like, are we really serious right now? What's going on? So, and it was terrible. So the whole time Bethany's like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. We'll clean it up. We'll clean it up. I am so sorry. I don't want to get charged for this. And I'm just like, in my mind, I'm like, if it leaves a mess, you gotta pay for it. I'm sorry. And this is another side note. I don't understand how people can ask for an Uber on their account and bring their friends, especially when they're drunk and they can throw up in the car and they can get charged. Or B, I've seen people do this a lot. They'll send an Uber for a friend under their account. So what if they throw up in my car? You're gonna get charged for it. I have no way to change who pays for the Uber. I just want to get paid for what is done to my car. Back on track. So she finally gets up. Her shirt's all ripped. She's got throw up all over her, and she's still just out of it. And the other two girls are just like, oh my god, we're not inviting her out anymore. This was so stupid. And so we get back in the car and we continue on to their destination. And the whole time I'm like, oh my god. And Bethany keeps repeating herself. She's like, I am so sorry. I don't want to get charged for this. When we get there, I'll clean up your car. I'm so sorry. So we get to her house. No, no, no. On the way there, she's like, call her boyfriend. So apparently the dude, her boy, Andrea's boyfriend is downtown partying or whatever. And I rewind back to, hold on, didn't you make out with the bartender? Anyways, none of my business. Just driving you around. So they're like, can you help us? Can you help us? So they call him to come to the house to help with her because she is so drunk. Like, literally, it took them 20 minutes to get her up off the ground when we were doing that. So I was like, okay, whatever. So we keep driving and we finally get to the house and they open the door to help her out and she falls right out of the car. When they take her seatbelt off, she falls right out of the car, face plant. She's now laying her whole body on the ground, face down, and she's still throwing up. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. So I'm just like, this is crazy. I'm ready to go home now. I'm so upset. So basically, Bethany runs inside the house and gets something to wipe up the throw up. And mind you, I guess the girl hadn't eaten in hours because It was just liquid. Like it was nothing chunky, no food, no nothing. It was just liquid. It was all on the seat where she was sitting and then all on the inside of my door. So, me being me, I had a spray bottle of Febreze and I was just spraying it all in the back. I was like, no one needs to friggin' smell this. No one needs to know about this except now because I'm doing a story time. But no one needs to smell this. So I'm spraying and spraying and spraying. And I'm like, this is disgusting. So she's back there just wiping it up. And she's like, see, it's just water. It's just water. It's fine. We're okay. We're okay. So I'm like, okay, yeah, that's fine. But if my car is smelling, I will be emailing you to let you know what's going to go down. So she's like, okay, and gives me her number. And Andrea starts to try to get up. And the car door's still open. So she gets up and hits her head on the bottom of my car door, which is made of metal. So I'm like, oh my god, is she okay? They're like, yeah, she's fine, she's fine. So both of the girls are at this point are really irritated with Andrea, and they're just frustrated. So Andrea just hops up and runs inside the house, I guess, tired of all the embarrassment. And both the girls thank me like for the 50th time and run inside the house. And I just drive away. I drive to the nearest gas station, and mind you, I'm in Apopka. I've not been to Apopka very many times, so I don't know where I'm going. So I just go to the nearest gas station and check inside my car. There's still throw up on the inside of my door, so I take a napkin and just spray Febreze all over it and just wipe it down. And I'm just like, I'm so over this crap. And after I'm done, everything looked fine. Drove straight home and later picked up my boyfriend. I was so upset and I told him what happened and he was like, oh my god. But yeah, that's what happened. Literally, I was upset about it when it was happening, but now that it's over and the inside of my car is clean, I'm not mad about it. It's just something like another story I can tell people about because it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. When it was happening, it was not funny, but now that it's over, it's pretty funny. So, hey, and I did the story in less than 20 minutes. I hope you guys like the story. I will tell you more later on. I'm gonna try to do a story time every once in a while. I do have a lot of funny stories I can tell. Um, let's see, especially since I'm an Uber driver because I see and hear a lot of crazy stuff when people get inside my car. So I know there's a time that I picked up a girl and she was like kind of trying to duck and dodge or run away from her baby daddy. I know there was a time I picked up I went to go pick up a girl and she was really rude. This was the first time I had to kick someone out of my car. Um, yeah, that was when I first started driving for Uber and Lyft. Um, and yeah, that's all I can think of right now, but I would really love to tell you guys. So keep watching. Bye.